There was once a family that had enjoyed prosperity for generations. But just 6 months after moving into their new home in the suburbs, everything began to spiral out of control. Their work took an unexpected downturn. Their children started arguing constantly. Money began disappearing in ways they could not explain. And every time they stepped through the front door, they felt a strange, chilly draft following behind them. When a Feng Shui expert was invited to take a look, he barely glanced at the main entrance before telling the entire family to stop everything they were doing. Right at that very threshold, he said, were deadly Feng Shui mistakes. Small missteps, but powerful enough to create an opening for negative energy to slip in and start shifting the entire family's fortune. In Feng Shui, the front door is considered the mouth of energy for the house. It is the very first point that receives and channels all the energy, directly impacting the family's wealth, health, and harmony. This is where the flow of energy begins to move into your living space, creating either ease and smoothness or blockages and stagnation, depending on how it is treated and maintained. A front door that is well-balanced, clean, and bright can bring in a strong, vibrant flow of energy. On the other hand, even the smallest flaw can throw that energy completely off track. But in reality, many people tend to overlook this critical area, letting it become cluttered, neglected, or surrounded by elements that disrupt the natural energy flow. When the front entrance loses its original clarity and openness, it becomes harder for good energy to enter, while bad energy finds it much easier to sneak in and settle. These silent disturbances slowly create disorder in your emotions, finances, and relationships. Things that most homeowners do not even notice until the consequences are already in full effect. That is why, in today's video, we are going to take a close look at the 7 most dangerous Feng Shui mistakes that could be hiding right at your front door. Mistakes that silently block wealth, weaken your health, and create a heavy, tense atmosphere at home without anyone really knowing why. But before we dive in, go ahead and drop a comment down below to affirm your positive energy. My home is being protected by bright and powerful energy, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel so every time a Feng Shui secret is revealed, it can bring even more peace and prosperity to your family. So what exactly are those Feng Shui mistakes silently hiding right outside your front door? These details may seem small, but they are powerful enough to shift the flow of energy in the wrong direction, causing many families to unknowingly lose their peace and prosperity. Mistake number 1. Letting the front door become old and worn out. One of the most common yet overlooked signs is that the front door has started to deteriorate and the homeowner has not paid attention to it. When the paint begins to peel, the hinges get rusty, or the handle becomes loose, it is not just a sign of aging. It actually represents the weakening of the energy that the door is supposed to guide into the house. Every crack, every flake of paint that falls off becomes an opening for tired, weakened energy to seep in, slowly undermining the stability of your living space. The front door is the very first place to welcome in light, wind, and the movement of energy. So when it is no longer intact, the house silently takes on a feeling of being faded, uncared for, and reflects an energy that is slowly declining. Families living in homes like this often describe a heavy feeling each time they walk through the door, without realizing that the source might be the quiet wear and tear happening right at the entrance. An old and worn-out door also creates a very specific emotional feeling, one that people only recognize after living with it for a while. It starts to feel like things in life are no longer complete, just like how the door itself no longer feels strong enough to open to new opportunities, or to protect the peace inside. When the hinges creak every time the door swings open, or when a loose handle makes stepping into your home feel unsteady, these subtle signals start to affect your emotions, making you feel uneasy, unmotivated, and even unstable in your work or relationships. A deteriorating front door will not bring disaster, but it does drain the freshness from the flow of energy. It makes the home feel heavier in a way that is hard to put into words. And while it may seem like just a physical issue, it actually reflects the mental and emotional energy of the family. Over time, it slows down the flow of good fortune, but most people are not sensitive enough to notice it. Mistake number 2. Leaving a dirty, torn, or negative doormat at the entrance. Most people never imagine that a doormat could influence the energy of the whole home. But in Feng Shui, everything placed at the entrance plays a role in how energy is received. A doormat that is worn out, caked in dust, or faded from being stepped on too many times does more than just look bad. It creates a heavy, tired impression and makes the threshold less respectful, almost like an open invitation for random, chaotic street energy to walk right in without being filtered. When someone steps on a crooked, neglected doormat, the first impression is not one of cleanliness or comfort. It is one of carelessness, a lack of respect for the living space. Over time, this starts to create an unconscious habit, coming home feeling tired, drained, and bringing the outside dust right into the sanctuary of your home. Even worse, some families place doormats with negative messages or heavy, dark colors right at the entrance, unintentionally turning the threshold into a source of inappropriate signals. Every time you come home and your eyes land on those unpleasant words, your mood gets affected in subtle ways. It is as if the mat is sending the wrong kind of message into your home. Small details like this, when repeated every day, start to create a subtle kind of mental contamination. It becomes harder to feel harmony and lightness when walking into your private space. It is not because the doormat is cursed, but because it sits in one of the most sensitive spots in the house. Everyone who steps through that door leaves a trace of their energy behind, and neglecting that spot becomes the first crack in the home's flow of energy, which many people fail to notice. Mistake number 3. Leaving shoes messy and cluttered in front of the door. A messy pile of shoes by the front door is a very familiar sight in many homes, but that familiarity is exactly why people fail to see how it creates an invisible sense of chaos, right where peace and calm should begin. When shoes are scattered, stacked on top of each other, or piled up near the entrance, it makes the whole area feel heavy and cramped. It is like a layer of scrambled energy waiting to greet you the moment you step inside, not the restful feeling a home should offer. Each pair of shoes carries dust from the street, bad smells, and traces of a long day. When they are left in disarray right at the entrance, they create a sense of sluggishness that drags down the home's vitality from the very first step in. Over time, this causes the homeowner to unconsciously feel more tired, like they are bringing the mess of the outside world into their safe space. This weakens the sense of peace and comfort that a home is supposed to offer. Beyond physical discomfort, cluttered shoes also take away from the dignity of the entryway. The front door marks the boundary between the chaotic outside world and the calm, stable space within. But when personal items are scattered carelessly there, that boundary starts to blur. The home loses its sense of privacy and security. Many people do not realize that each time they open the door, their eyes land on the messy shoes before they can even feel the warmth or cleanliness of the home. That split-second moment already pulls the mood down, stripping away the lightness that should come with returning home. In the long run, this kind of clutter can lead to a deeper feeling of being out of control, making it hard for the homeowner to stay organized in both thoughts and relationships. After all, the energy of a home always begins with how its entrance is treated. Mistake number 4. Having the front door directly aligned with the back door. When the front and back doors are perfectly aligned, the house accidentally creates a strong escape path for energy. Any energy that enters has no chance to stay. It rushes straight out, like water flowing through a pipe, without ever soaking into the soil. That constant stream robs the house of warmth and the gathering energy that every person hopes to come home to. People living in this layout often cannot explain why they always feel like they are running on empty. It feels like every effort, every bit of luck, or every moment of joy slips away just as they reach for it, mirroring how energy inside the house cannot settle, not even for a moment. No matter how beautiful, spacious, or luxurious the home may be, this constant energy loss creates a sense of emptiness. It lacks emotional depth and the subtle sense of connection that helps nurture a calm and grounded state of mind. Energetically, this door-to-door layout forms an unstable energy axis, like an invisible hallway with no stops and no buffers. It makes the home feel like it is always flowing too fast. That might sound gentle, but it makes it difficult for people in the house to feel secure or stable. Many families in this type of home describe the same pattern. Words spoken in the house do not linger. Important things are hard to hold on to. Happy moments pass too quickly, and even sadness moves on before anyone can truly understand where it came from. All of this creates a lifestyle that lacks grounding. It becomes harder to slow down and let the mind settle. When you stand at the front door and can see straight out the back, the house feels like it has no arms to embrace you, no stopping point where energy can gather. Over time, this leads to an unspoken emptiness. You feel like you are living in a beautiful place that never really holds you, a place that opens too quickly and closes too soon, letting silence slip into moments that should have been the warmest. Mistake number 5. Placing a mirror directly opposite the front door. When a mirror is placed directly across from the front door, the first thing that happens is not the reflection of an image, but the disruption of the energy trying to enter the home. Mirrors have the natural quality of doubling and reflecting, so when one sits right at the threshold, every bit of energy that steps in is instantly bounced back, as if it is being rejected the moment it arrives. This creates a strange sensation for anyone walking in. People often feel themselves pause slightly, like they have brushed up against something invisible that is just strong enough to slow them down. The deeper reason behind this is not about superstition, but rather about how the reflection subtly affects the human mind. When you open your front door and immediately see your own image, your unconscious mind experiences a brief disconnect. It feels like there is an invisible barrier standing between the outside and the inside, breaking the flow that should feel smooth and welcoming. This momentary disruption takes away the warm, inviting feeling a home is supposed to offer, like it is not fully opening its arms to those coming back. A mirror facing the door also creates a powerful conflicting energy that can make your emotions or thoughts feel unsettled or off balance every time you enter the house. Some families wonder why their space feels uncomfortable, even when it is clean and tidy. It is often because their mood keeps bouncing back at them, unable to settle, as if they are always being pushed away. When the first thing you see is your own reflection, the home no longer shows you warmth, loved ones, or signs of life. It only reflects the same image over and over again. Over time, this dulls the feeling of belonging. Coming home no longer feels gentle. A truly comforting home should feel like stepping into an open embrace. But when a mirror is placed in the wrong spot, the space becomes one of constant reflection. It does not hold you, it does not absorb, and it does not offer rest. It creates a fragile emotional field that even the people living in it often cannot fully describe. Mistake number 6, a dark and poorly lit front entrance. A home with a dark front entrance feels like it is covered in a thin layer of gloom. Anyone who approaches can sense the heaviness, even if they do not know why. Lighting at the front door is not just about visibility. It represents life, movement, and the flow of energy between the outside world and the inside. When this area lacks light, it is the shadows that greet those returning home, leading to an unconscious feeling of tiredness or emotional weight. Weak lighting takes away the clarity of the space. It can feel as though the front door is not truly open, not fully welcoming. People who live in homes like this for a long time often develop a quiet sense of fatigue, like they are stepping into a place that is not quite awake, not entirely alive. This is not a superstition. It is simply a natural human response to the absence of light and air, both of which are directly tied to our biological rhythms and emotional state. A dark entryway makes the home feel like it is shrinking back, avoiding contact with the outside world. This blocks the healthy flow of energy. Any space that lacks light tends to trap heavy energy, and when that happens, right at the entry point, the entire breadth of the home becomes sluggish. People crossing that threshold often feel their spirit drop slightly. The excitement of coming home fades, and they cannot quite explain why. On a psychological level, a dim entrance makes people unconsciously draw inward, becoming more closed off or hesitant. Right in that first step, they are not met with any signal of warmth or brightness. Families with dark entryways often describe their homes as having a slower energy. People talk less, moods are heavier, and that is entirely in line with how light affects human emotions. A home without light at the front door is like a body that cannot take a deep breath. It loses the spark that brings life to every corner within. Mistake number 7, placing sharp or spiky plants right at the front door. When a family places sharp, spiky plants like cacti, agave, or other pointed species at the front entrance, they unknowingly give the house a defensive, hard-edged tone right where energy is supposed to enter. The spines, though small, still create a harsh visual that makes the space feel closed off and uninviting, like the threshold has put up an invisible wall. Stepping into the house no longer feels gentle or natural. This feeling does not come just from the physical shape of the plant, but from the subtle interaction between people and sharp-edged objects. The moment someone arrives and sees pointed spikes facing them, it often triggers a faint sense of alertness, as if they need to hold back slightly before entering. Over time, this creates a cautious atmosphere, and the house loses the softness needed to truly welcome peace and comfort. Plants that carry sharp energy do not just weigh down the space. They also affect the emotional connection among people in the home. An entryway filled with spiky shapes makes it harder for the mood to relax. People tend to feel tense or irritable without knowing why. This happens because humans naturally react to shapes, and anything that looks piercing or aggressive tends to activate our subconscious defense mode. When this happens day after day, right at the entry point, It takes away the smooth and gentle flow of energy, a flow that helps us feel safe and open-hearted. In many cases, homes with spiky plants at the entrance carry an unwelcoming energy. This is not about spiritual beliefs, but about how people instinctively respond to sharp visuals in a place that is supposed to begin with relaxation. It becomes harder for harmony to grow inside the house when the energy is already being pushed back at the very first step, right at the tip of those pointed leaves. Now that you know which mistakes to avoid, the next important step is to find solutions that help your home regain its freshness, warmth, and harmony, so that your front door can return to its true role as the gateway that welcomes in the most beautiful and uplifting energy. The area around the front door can only truly regain its balance once all unnecessary items are cleared away, because clutter often creates a heavy feeling that the people living in the home do not immediately notice. When the entryway is filled with too many extra things, the space becomes blocked and can create an invisible sense of suffocation for anyone who walks up. Removing anything that is outdated, broken, or no longer serves a purpose helps return a sense of lightness to the threshold, like releasing a layer of stagnant energy that has built up over time. Once that clutter is gone, the space feels more open and free, allowing the first step into the house to feel effortless and natural, rather than weighed down by surrounding mess. After clearing the space of physical and emotional obstacles, the next step is to care for the surface area around the front door to help the space truly shine. When the floor is clean, shoes are neatly placed in a designated spot, and the entrance is free from anything that might cause disruption. Every movement through the doorway becomes lighter and smoother. A tidy entryway gives returning guests and family members the feeling of stepping into a new, fresh layer of air, something pleasant and inviting. Instead of being met with visual chaos that quietly pulls the mood down, they are welcomed by a space that instantly uplifts. That moment of coming home becomes something soothing, helping the mind relax after a long, demanding day. Lighting at the front door acts as the very first touch point on someone's emotions when they open the door. A dark space makes people instinctively hold back, because shadows always carry an undertone of caution or uncertainty. On the other hand, when the entryway has just the right amount of light, not too harsh, but enough to clearly illuminate every detail, the space ahead feels warm and reassuring. Light represents life, movement, and flow. It helps energy pass through the doorway without getting stuck or slowing down. When the lighting is gentle and balanced, the home feels more open, and everyone who arrives feels truly welcomed. The gentle atmosphere of the entryway is finally complete when the area is kept free of objects with sharp or spiky shapes. These forms can cause people to instinctively put up a mental guard. A soft and smooth threshold, without harsh lines or jagged edges, naturally creates a sense of ease and safety, helping those returning home relax from the very first step inside. When the entryway has a soft presence, the home becomes a place that invites peace rather than triggering unconscious tension. As a result, the living space behind the door gets to enjoy a full sense of warmth and harmony, laying the foundation for a steady, balanced energy that spreads throughout the entire home. When the front door is properly cared for and restored to a state of harmony, the whole house begins to change in a very natural way. The atmosphere inside becomes lighter, and family members begin to feel more comfortable and more connected, as if the energy that was once stuck now has room to flow freely. Everything in life, work, health, and emotional well-being also begins to move more smoothly, more peacefully, simply because the front door, the very first point of entry for energy, has become stable and bright again. A home with a balanced front door always feels safe. It is a place where you can return and let go of the burdens and stress of the outside world. In the end, the most important thing is not to make huge changes, but to stay mindful of the small, thoughtful ways you can keep the entrance bright, tidy, and welcoming. When the front door is in its best possible state, the house will naturally attract more pleasant experiences, fewer unnecessary complications, and become a space that truly nourishes the spirit. Before you go, leave a comment below with a positive affirmation. My home is opening to a source of pure, peaceful, and abundant energy. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel so every Feng Shui story shared can become a little light, guiding your home toward greater harmony and stability.